virtual army of unidentified criminals. Do you remember watching our nation get systematically destroyed for 4 years by the Joe Biden Autopen administration? Do you remember longing for the days of winning when we had Donald Trump in the White House? Do you remember thinking he was going to die when the bullet aimed at his brain only grazed his ear? Do you remember rejoicing after witnessing the miracle that saved his life? Do you remember celebrating the epic landslide victory in November of 2024? This is what you hoped for. This is what you prayed for. This is what you voted for. So why are you questioning every decision he makes now that he's back in office? God didn't save his life so he could make mistakes. He knows what he's doing. Maybe it's time to shut the fuck up and let him cook. This has been a public service announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? It's time for the final countdown. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's rock.
And how's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? All right, guys, before I begin, I'm going to check out to see if the audio works, and it works. I always got to do that just to make sure, because StreamYard, for some reason, once in a while, it likes to kick me out for the audio. So anyway, welcome to Monday night. I hope you guys were following me last night, which I think you were. That was more like a special Sunday night, considering I was supposed to have a special guest on who backed out, but says that the link didn't work. And we'll get to it in a second, because obviously everyone needs to know that, the big bad man, Mr. Freedom himself, while he was doing a podcast, even though we planned it a week before, had a unscheduled podcast at the same time. It's kind of weird, but either way, and then throws me a message an hour and 15 minutes late to say, hey man, your link doesn't work, bogus. And that's a bunch of crap, because you know what? Nick is on right now, got the same link, and the link is still up for Mr. Freedom to have accepted it, which I kept on going back and forth, which you guys seen me yesterday going back and forth to see if he read the message, which he didn't. I wouldn't want to debate with me either, to be honest with you. And I'm going to pretend Mr. Nick, who's actually waiting in the back here, going to ask the same questions that I would have asked Mr. Freedom, Mr. Big Time. And I know in the back of my mind that going against Donald Trump and this time of period only represents one thing, is you're getting paid to go against him, or you've been compromised. Just a couple, like the couple more people that I do know that's been compromised also. So it would actually, for the 45 million views that he says he has, it would actually make sense, to be honest with you. But anyway, we're going to move on. I wouldn't want to debate with myself either against Donald Trump, especially being a Canadian. It's actually pretty naive of him to think he could. Smoking dope and drinking beer and talking about health. Good on you. It's great that you decide to do your podcast almost at the same time. Anyway, so without, we're going to do our, the podcast like usual. But before we start, we always do the shout outs, guys, to see which ones of the family members, the Patriots, our American family, our Canadian family, of course, the common sensors, our purebloods, our once upon a time purebloods. We're going to do that first. And I'm going to give you a quick summary of how about Mr. Nick himself, Nick Freedom, how we met and what his background is and why he became a full-time freedom fighter. So you guys, it's kind of a sad story. It really is. Nick kind of mentioned it to me a long time ago, and it kind of stuck with me because he got the shitty end of the stick, and I almost got the shitty end of the stick because we had the same situation, but the different outcomes. So just a second here. So the first shout out is going to Mo. from Somerset, Manitoba, Jude Bourgeois, Judy Horn from Kentucky, Miss Chevy, girl from Nova Scotia, of course, Nancy Volkey, of course, Kim Abbott, Brent from North Carolina, Roland Therese, Miss Anna Gallant, one of my cousins, Aline Gautreau, and another relative of mine. Say hi to Rabbit for me. That's his nickname, guys, Rabbit. He's a family member, and his nickname was Rabbit. So we all have nicknames. Mine was Boom Boom because of hockey. Boom Boom Jeffrey on. Just, all my family got, my mom's, believe it or not, was Kakut. I think it's like little hen or little chicken when she was a kid, but they used to call her Kakut. It's I don't know, it's an Acadian thing. How you doing, Brenda Pryor? Joel Dag, brother from a different mother. Mac Sean, brother from a different mother from Oshawa. Kim Abbott, of course. Nancy Bouchard, Yolanda, Miss Carrie from Ontario, Dale from Nova Scotia, Sylvia from the island, Irene, of course, from Ontario, Media Dag. Oh, there's another one. Dallas, can you imagine the link worked? Yeah, yeah. Can you imagine if the link worked? It would have been great. But I'm going to ask the same questions, and I'm going to pretend that you guys are Mr. Freedom himself when I ask these questions to Nick, and you're going to see how I had him pretty much like in a boxing match, and I cornered him, and there was no way to get him out before I hit him with the uppercut. So I'm going to do the same thing, but with Nick being Nick and not so much Mr. Freedom. And I don't think Nick right now is getting drunk and smoking dope to challenge, little old me to a debate. And I don't blame him. Stick to comedy is how this all started. Stick to comedy. Let the politics and especially Trump, leave that to me. The only Canadian podcaster out there that actually knows what's going on with this whole debate. Stick to the Canadian shit. Leave the American shit to me, especially if you're Canadian. There's no podcaster in Canada that knows more about the white hats and what's happening with Trump and what he does, and how he does what he does. And I don't know it all, but I pretty much know more than any Canadian out there, especially podcasters. What's this? Juanita, Vincent, Bert, Norman, guys, the list goes on. Margarita, Kenny, Miss Eagles, of course, Janice, and Sharon from Manitoba, Dan Marsh, Lisa. How you doing, Miss Lisa from Ontario? It's been a while. You haven't been on here live. And Marcel the Tiger Dion, who's spreading his hatred for the Liberal voters, like we all do. How you doing, Lise? So anyway, let's go to this, guys. So Mr. Nick, who's in the back here, I can see him. What happened to him when the whole pandemic started? Because we won't talk too much about his past. We want to talk about the future. What happened with Mr. Nick is the fact that he has a daughter, he has a child. And when he found out from the ex that she got vaccinated, Nick lost his shit. Pretty much the same way I lost my shit when my ex was telling me that she's going to vaccinate my son. You don't even understand. I came back from Colombia. I was coming to pick up my son. She told me she's going to get my son vaccinated. I lost my shit. It's the only time I ever screamed in front of my son to her. Usually I argue with her during, text messages. I lost my shit. Nothing physical, just mentally saying that's never going to happen. So anyway, I had the child protection after me. I had the courts after me. You don't even understand. And I literally went to the courts and said, listen, because I'm not afraid of the court system, especially in Quebec. It's a joke. And I said, listen, you guys don't know me, but I'm going to look up my past. Here's my real name. Here's my, what will happen if any of you guys are found accountable of ever vaccinating my son. You'll have to look over your shoulders for the rest of your life. I can promise you that. And obviously the judge said something, and I said, there's nothing you can say or do that will change my mind. Just keep that in mind. That's all I got to say. Difference with Nick is he had a court order saying he can't be around his daughter because he wasn't vaccinated, blah, blah, blah. So as a father, I would have lost my mind. And that's what set Nick on the path of doing what he's doing, of going around Canada, because he has this hatred for the government because of forcing the vaccination on his kid. And shake your head, Nick, if I'm pretty much close. Am I right about that? Of course. So I don't know if he has seen his child ever since. I don't think so. And nope. And it's a sad story. But Nick, being strong, and has been down. Trust me, he's been down, living in his car, doing a lot of shit just to survive and keep his head. And you know, karma comes around. It comes around. It came around for me, and it's coming around for Nick. But let's bring Nick out, and we're gonna treat Nick because he's always a freedom fighter, and he's always watching the show. And I want to bring him on to make up for you guys for Mr. Freedom. And Nick's a big Trump lover, obviously, because if you ever see the protests happening in Toronto, Ottawa, he's the only one pretty much with the Trump flag. So you can't miss him. Anyway, let's bring him on. Can you hear me, Nick?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, brother. So obviously the link worked for you, right?
Yeah, not a problem.
On the first try.
Yeah.
So with that being said, for you know, and the thing is with Nick is, as soon as the live was done, Nick messaged me, and we went on live and we're talking, and he was saying how he sent out a message to Mr. Freedom and all this, said the link was bogus, which it wasn't. I actually sent it to Nick saying, does this look bogus to you? And it's the same link I sent to him tonight. So obviously, I don't know if Mr. Freedom was too drunk or stoned to come on. And you have to get drunk and stoned, because like I said, I was ready. I was, you know, and it only took me about 30 minutes to get ready to ask certain questions, but I was putting him in the corner, and I was going to give him the uppercut when it came to why he's going against Trump, buddy. So was I right about your situation, buddy, with your child?
Yeah. I hate talking about it. I get pretty upset.
Of course, I almost had
Well,
tears
there's
in my eyes for
actually,
you, buddy.
I think I sent you the link to that news article. Lisa Joy from North Balford, my hometown, she was following me on social media because of the convoy and everything, and she called me up out of the blue and said she wanted to write a story. And I said, I don't talk to reporters. I said, you guys all lie. That's why we're in this mess. You guys are all liars. And she says, no, I want to do the right thing. I said, all right, I'll give you a chance, but you got to give me a rough draft first before you print it. So 2 weeks later, she sends me a rough draft, and I start crying, and I called her. I said, oh, God bless you. I said, post it. And yeah, it says, it's so insane that 4 hours after I yelled at my ex on the phone, I wasn't at her house, on the phone, after my daughter tells me on a FaceTime call that her mother did that to her behind my back because we had an agreement. And and then so she grabs the iPad from Callie and says, this is inappropriate, and hangs up, and then calls me on her cell phone and tells me what she did so they can go to Mexico, and I don't have a say in all this and that. And I lost my shit and screamed at her on the phone. And I threw my phone against, like I shattered my phone. I put a hole right in the wall of the house. And I had to work the next day. So I calmed down. I went to bed. My spouse at the time, Casey, she wakes me up 4 hours later and says, Nick, the cops are here. I was like, oh, God. So I walk out, put a pair of pants on. I got no shirt on. I walk out. I was like, what's up? They're like, we got to throw the cuffs on you. You're under arrest for uttering threats. I was like, holy. All right. Yeah. I know how the system works. Yeah. You know, guilty until proven innocent. Yeah. So restraining order, all that, put on, you know, no contact, blah, 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 blah. Anyway. Then I breached those conditions yet too, because after the convoy, when I headed out west to go yell at Bill Gates, who was in Vancouver, at a protest there. Then on my way back to Ottawa again to the Rolling Thunder Bikers event, I stopped in Shellbrook, Saskatchewan, because I found out where my POS premier, Scott Moe, who likes to, you know, drive around drunk and kill women and get away with it. You can Google his name. You can see how our crooked politicians get away with murder. Anyway, I went and knocked on his door. I wanted to talk to him, man to man, about this bullshit. And his wife opened up the door, and her words were, who the fuck are you? Because she see my freedom card sitting out front. I said, I'm Nicholas Iwanchuk. What the fuck do you want? I want to talk to Scott Moe. He doesn't fucking live here. Where does he live? None of your fucking business. And slammed the door in my face. Oh, wait. All right. So I also found out where his parents live. So I thought maybe they're a little bit more respectable. So I went over to their house. Nobody was home. So I put a note in the door, my name, my phone number, my email, everything. And I said, I want to talk to your son, Scott Moe, man to man, dad to dad, heart to heart, about these issues here with COVID. 6 months later, I got arrested and thrown in jail for harassment of Scott Moe and his family.
Yeah, I remember that.
Insane.
All right. So because of last night because believe it or not, guys, I actually had Nick that was going to come on.
Sorry to cut you off. This isn't drugs. I'm a cigarette smoker. This is a nicotine thingamajig.
I think everyone would know that, but I mean, there's more vapors than anything. So last night I was going to bring Nick on as a special guest in the background with Mr. Freedom, to be honest with you, because Nick loves Trump just as much as we all love Trump, and he was pretty much a backup to bring out some truth about Trump and all that. But how this all started with Mr. Freedom, in case that people don't understand and who really don't care, but I'm going to show a video that I couldn't comment because I was on Facebook ban until January 19th. But people were sending me a lot of comments, and this is the main reason why I was trying to get Mr. Freedom on. Even though he challenged me, I accepted the challenge and he backed out. I want to show you guys his 4-minute little sketch that he did on January 1st for people to see how disgusting the it really is to throw this out and not expect to get feedback. Check this out.
Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year's, or happy fake New Year's, because that's not what really New Year's is if you really know the truth. You've all been fooled. But anyways, a lot of upset people on my page, and I'm here to make sure that I made you more upset, because I've always been a comedian. I tell the truth, and I don't care about anyone's opinion. A lot of people unfollowing me today, and I'm glad you are, because all honesty, I looked at your profiles. You're 300-pound overweight, seed-eating, oil, disgusting human beings anyway that don't care about your health. And all you do is care about is promoting one person, which is a billionaire, Donald Trump, and that's fine. I used to support him too. I was hoping that maybe there would be one person out there that could save us, and I was wrong. I was not going to be a politician. There is one person out there that can save you, but it's not going to be a politician. So I can admit when I was wrong. So now I've been making some jabs at Donald Trump, and why not? He's a politician. He's the political figure. That's what they're there for. You can poke jabs at people. And if your reaction is to be upset when I poke jabs at somebody that's a billionaire that doesn't give a shit about you, and you get upset, you're acting just like the liberals, because I've dealt with them too. So here I am now, admitting that I was wrong, admitting that Donald Trump is no better than any other politician and just playing the dog and pony show, because that's what they're doing. There ain't going to be no arrests. Hillary Clinton ain't going to be hanging from a rope. She ain't going to go to jail. Her pedophile fucking husband ain't going to jail. And anyone that committed crimes with Epstein, they ain't going to jail either. They're all going to be their old buddies. It's like, and I go back to the George Carlins. He used to say it. It's all one big group, and we're not part of it, guys. So Donald Trump's just playing his part, going to play it out, going to be the leader of the New World Order. He's going to assemble it all, so Canada will become America, and the UK will join, and it'll be an alliance, and they'll have the New World Order. He's the last step, and we all played into it. They fooled us all, guys. So it's okay to admit you're wrong. Most people are too stubborn to. That's why I admit the world isn't a globe, and we've been fucking lied to our whole entire existence. The school board's a fucking lying piece of shit. Science is all lies, proven to us over the COVID, and all you idiots took the fucking jab, killed you and your kids. Now it's got a black label on it, and Donald Trump supported that. Donald Trump lost my support when he started promoting a fucking experimental vaccine to millions of people. So, sorry, I stand up for my children's fucking health. And I don't stand up for a billionaire because guess what? A billionaire doesn't stand up for me. I have a billionaire running my country too. What has he done for me? Take my fucking money and give it to his fucking friends? Well, let's go give it to Israel. Let's go give it to Palestine. But I'm a bad guy for saying it. Maybe you're a fucking retard for believing it. So maybe take a look at your own fucking self. Admit that you fucking were wrong. And start following the only person that's going to save you right there. Better yourself, get involved with the church and the community so we can have actual structure and values. Maybe the politicians should follow fucking rules. Maybe the 10 Commandments. Imagine the politicians followed the 10 Commandments. They'd all be fired. No, but we gotta suck Donald Trump's dick like a fucking stupid fucking retard. Oh, Donald did nothing wrong. Now he's a billionaire. Don't give a fuck if you die taking the fucking jab. Don't give a fuck if families die in Palestine. Don't give a fuck if families die in Iran. He don't give a fuck if Americans die in the fucking streets. He don't give one fuck. And how stupid are we to believe that a billionaire actually gives a fuck about poor old little us? That's how fucking stupid you are if you think so. So if you don't like my page, you don't like my content, oh, I hurt your feelings with the Donald Trump meme.
Yeah, I think that's it for Mr. I mean, I used to work on the oil rigs. That shit's just far out there. And whoever actually listens to that crap and agrees, is just as brain dead as he is. Maybe I don't know if it's the drugs, the roofer powder that he takes, or the drinking. he actually made fun of the fat people that actually care for Donald Trump. And this guy drinks 24/7, does blow, and talks about hookers all day long. I know a lot of it's comedy, but he does drink a lot and smoking dope on TV. It's a real cool gesture. So the question, guys, just a few things that he mentioned that I wrote down, and I never took time to write down the crap that he's talked about. But let's go with this. He says Trump's a politician. Nick, is Trump a politician? What is Trump to you? Is he a politician?
I wouldn't say so. He's done beyond good in life as a businessman, and
Thank you. That's the answer. Trump's never been a politician.
No.
Trump's a businessman. Okay. Yeah. He mentioned something about billionaires. Why would a billionaire save us? Well, number one is there's no such thing as a politician who's a billionaire. That's number one. Number two is Trump has lost more money on every single day that he decided that he was going to run for president. Donald Trump hasn't even taken a salary for running to be a president. Never considered himself a politician. He's never said he was a politician. He actually hates politicians. He mentioned something about NWO, that he's bringing in the New World Order. So that brings to me think of a boxing match. I'm going to jab you, pretend you're Mr. Freedom. I'm going to be throwing stuff at you. So get ready for this. You're Mr. Freedom right now, but you're not high, you're not drunk. So I'm going to keep on jabbing you, and let's see if you can get out of the corner, my friend. Since he brought up the NWO. What does the Paris Accord mean to you, Nick?
The Paris Accord?
Yep.
Refresh my memory on that one.
Okay, Paris Accord is all that climate bullshit, that climate change that was signed with Harper and the other presidents, Obama and the rest of them. So what did Donald Trump say about the climate change?
It's a bunch of BS.
That's right. He said it's a green scam. That was a hoax, that there was no such thing as climate change. That's number one. Okay, Nick, what does the WEF stand for you? We all know what it stands for, but what does it mean to you, the WEF?
What does the World Economic Forum mean to me?
Yep.
Aren't they the global parasites that are pushing the New World Order?
Correct. And what did Donald Trump announce not too long ago about the WEF?
Was it defund it?
That's right. That they're not going to fund the WEF. That the United States has nothing to do with the WEF. Good answer. You pass. Number three. What does a WHO stand for you, Nick? What does WHO?
The World Health Organization.
Okay. So what did Donald Trump said about the World Health Organizations?
He's done with them as well.
That's right. He took the United States out of the WHO, completely say, see you later, never going to happen, and you're not getting a dime for us. All right, you passed that one, Nick. What does the UN stand for, and what does it mean?
The United Nations. Aren't they the ones that beat the living shit out of us in Ottawa?
That's correct. So the UN Nations, what it is, my friend, the United Nations was established back in the 50s. And what it is a bunch of bully countries that get together. And what they do is they form this United Nations army. And whatever country doesn't obey by putting a Rothschild's banking system in their country has this big bully of all these nations against them. Now, there's thousands of reports that wherever UN soldiers are at, there's a lot of rape and pillaging of the villages, especially in the continent of Africa. Tons of videos and articles about that. What was just announced? Maybe you don't know this. What was just announced last week with the UN? I'm not saying you know the answer, my friend.
That's something to do with Denmark and Greenland and all that?
No. So the UN, they just announced, Trump just announced that they defunded the UN nations, even though I told everybody all this, the WF, the WHO, all of those foundations were defunded a long time ago. Anyway, it just finally came out 5 years later that the WHO is going to be, the UN are going to be no longer the UN because there is no funding coming in. So their president of the UN Nations organization has said we are now completely dissolved. So there's no more UN nations. All right. So 2017, the Trump speech at Davos. You remember that speech?
Eh, I think I do.
Backing you up in the corner. So what he said in his 2017 speech is when he looked at all the leaders, he literally looked at them and said, "We know what you guys are going to do, or what you think you're going to do, but it's never going to happen of what you guys think you're going to do. And whatever plans you have, don't expect them to work out because the world is not going to go the same way, that you guys are going to try." 3 days later, after he left Davos, George Soros came out on TV in a spiel and said that Donald Trump was a threat to democracy. Okay. What about the 2017 when Trump, after he got inaugurated in 2017, after January 20th, where did Trump decide that he was going? What was that tour called? Do you remember?
The capitulation tour.
Correct. Capitulation tour. And what do you remember about that capitulation tour?
He went to all those leaders of several countries, and he pretty much put them in checkmate.
Pretty much, right? Even walking in front of who?
The Queen.
The Queen. Exactly. And which is a big no-no. What did he do with the, you remember seeing the photo of him and the priest or the Pope at the time?
Yeah, the Pope did not look very happy.
That's right. And who was dressed up in black in that picture?
Melania
and his daughter, with the veil saying that the Catholic Church was no longer. That was a sign that they were going to a funeral.
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
Correct. What do you know about adrenochrome, my friend?
Yeah.
What's the wording of adrenochrome?
Children's blood to make you youth or whatever.
And which president did you know literally announced about all the adrenochrome labs throughout the world was going to be shut down?
Trump.
That's what his whole capitulation tour was about. Also, was the adrenochrome factories around the world. And after, if Trump is bringing the NWO, why is every celebrity, I'm not going to say every singer, every sports figure, every politician, every news channel, why have every single one of them for the past 9 years had been attacking the only guy that has brought out? Would you have known about adrenochrome if Trump wouldn't have announced it?
No.
Nobody would. Would you have known about the human trafficking of kids?
No.
So the whole thing with Mr. Roofer Dust there and being drunk and all this with Trump being he mentioned something about the COVID too, the COVID with him being the grandfather of COVID shots. So the question I ask you, did you see the video that popped out last week with Trump talking about the vaccines?
With the black labels, but I remember when this COVID crap came out, Trump gave a speech in 2020, I believe it was, and said, use what's available on the shelves, hydrochloroquine, and stay away from the ventilators, were the words that came out of his mouth.
Correct. So the question I ask you, he was still president in 2020. When did the first vaccine start hitting the market?
I believe the spring of 2021.
Which he wasn't president.
Correct.
So if you guys do common sense thinking, you would know that Trump didn't push anything out, and he called it Operation Warp Speed. Do you even know what Operation Warp Speed meant in your terminology?
Well, once I did finally figure it out, because there's a lot of morons out there that use this warp speed term to say that he pushed the vaccines to kill people, which it was a military operation to. You explain it better than me. I know exactly what you're talking about. So
Operation Warp Speed, when you hear the word operation, it's military. So military warp speed, guys, was the whole term of if the whole plan of what was supposed to happen is if Hillary Clinton would have won, All right, without giving the whole spiel of what the whole narrative was when Clinton was supposed to win. She was going to set off a nuclear bomb somewhere in the States. They were going to blame the Russia and they were going to cause World War III, just to let you guys know, because she had sold uranium to Iran, and they were going to pretend that the Russians set off a nuclear bomb somewhere in the States, blame it on the Russians, start World War III. They were going to bring out the Agenda 21 with the whole pandemic crap. So you got to think, we got World War III, okay? World War III. Now, remember how history repeats. You guys ready for this one? All right? This is where this was the kill shot for him, but he would have probably been too stoned to even understand. What happened in World War I, Nick, when they sent over 2 million troops to Europe to fight in World War I? What did the troops come back with? The
Spanish flu.
The Spanish flu. So yeah, so what happened, guys, in the World War I, because history repeats, is they sent 2 million soldiers over to Europe. When they came back, because the soldiers were injected before leaving, because they were telling the soldiers that there were viruses down in Europe that they didn't want them to catch and come back with. So when the soldiers came back, they came back with the Spanish flu. And that's when 18 million people died from the Spanish flu, AKA everyone started getting vaccinated like sheep. And then 32 million people died of bacterial pneumonia, which was wearing the mask. So the whole point of Operation Warp Speed was going to be the exact same thing with Hillary Clinton. If she would have won, there would have been World War III. There would have been fighting. There would have been a pandemic like there was in the Spanish flu. They would have literally milked, I think they were looking at 4 to 5 years of fake people dying, scaring the hell out of people, putting people in concentration camps, AKA FEMA camps that they found. And the people that didn't want to get vaccinated, do you know, Nick, what was going to happen to them?
No, but I know it wouldn't have been good.
Okay, well, I want you to check this video out. I have it right here for you. I want the whole world to see this, because this was back in 2007, 2008, when the first pandemic was supposed to start with SARS in 2009. That's when all this whole BS was supposed to start in 2009. But check this out, because this was the plan.
Not long ago, there had been as many as 500,000 of these grave liners or disposable coffins.
They were stacked, he told me 15 high. I asked him who owned them, and he stated that the CDC owned them and that they were leasing his land for storage. And he said his brother worked with the CDC in Atlanta and had been asked by the CDC to do a 3-year extension to place temporary morgues all across the nation.
We're just getting an idea for the size of these boxes. What could these boxes be used for? Well, they're called casket liners. And that's an interesting term, isn't it? It's a casket liner. When I first heard the term casket liner, I thought perhaps a lining for a casket. But this is too big to be on the inside of a casket. So certainly this could be used as a casket. This is an inexpensive casket. And you can see the size here. There's lots of room. I think my friends here, we could all probably get inside it. We'd fit just fine. Which tells me that these liners can be used for more than just one. And one more time, what kind of liners are these?
Casket liners.
These are casket liners.
That's what the man said.
That's what the man told us. And we're told that there are about, well, there were about 500,000 out here.
Pretty interesting video, isn't it, Nick?
I remember that now. Yep, I know. I remember that video.
So now what's happening is they're going to try to scare people with this Nepal virus that is starting in India.
Yep.
So for Mr. Freedom to say a few things, he said, Trump, there's no one here to save us except God. I kind of take offense of that because we've already been saved. We've been saved since 2017 from a lot more than what I just showed you guys. That's number one. Number two is you just seen the whole COVID crap. But I remember he mentioned something about the schooling system. What did Trump say about the schooling system in the United States? If any school supports anything with transgender or anything to do with any kind of genders or any kind of craziness, what was he going to do to any university?
Shut it down.
He's going to shut them down and defund them.
Yeah.
So he was wrong again about that. Trump's not here to save us, he said. Do you believe God, Nick?
Oh, I believe in God. Yeah, of
Okay. Yep. Everyone believes God. Now, do you believe God has angels?
course.
So would you consider Trump as one of his angels?
I am a strong believer in that. Yep. That's why the population was told to fucking hate this man.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're in a very dark age. And if you guys paid attention to yesterday with the whole spiritual thing, Trump is against anything that is against mutilating kids, 1, abortion, 2, and we all know when it comes to adrenochrome, 3, any government that goes against the people, which again, I'm pretty sure that Trump in, 2022 mentioned about the truck convoy. Nick, what did he say about the people of Canada?
I actually have that clip saved. He said, "God bless those Canadian truckers standing up to the mandates." And what did he call our government? I can't remember the term. And he said,
Incompetent.
And we support those brave Canadian truckers. Yeah.
Yeah. So, in the end, do you think, between me and you, and I had something here. Let me bring this out. I have a lot of things that I want to share about Trump. And for example, when you look at this picture, Nick, when I talk about evilness, who is that? Do you know?
No.
Well, on the right hand, that very bizarre looking man is Obama. Can you see it now?
Hold on a second here. I got to put my reading glasses on.
Can you see it?
That's Obama.
That's Obama.
Oh, my dear Lord.
And who do you think that is beside him? Anybody know who that is?
No.
Podesta. And you know where this was? Because you can kind of see the woods in the back. What's that place that they go in California? It's called the Grove. Do you remember? There's a place in California. It's in the woods. And once a year, you have all these elites. They go to this grove, they call it. It's impossible to get in. And if you guys can tell me what grove that's called again, there's a name for it. Oh crap, I'm having a brain fart. But anyway, it's a grove where all the elites go and they sacrifice a child. And there was many, what's his name? Alex Jones actually snuck in. And Bohemian Grove. Thank you, Lisa. Bohemian Grove, if you're ever curious, man. So at the end of the day, there is a lot of evil stuff coming out. So obviously, for example, when you look at this picture with Lady Gaga, Nick, what do you see there? This was at the Grammys the other day.
Well, her eyes will just look like the devil.
Yeah, but you see right behind her, the Grammy Award. What's it look like? Not the award, but the actual symbol behind. It looks like the what? The ICNI?
Yep.
See that?
Yep.
Yep. And that was all over the place. The ICNI. What did this with Justin Bieber? Did you see that little clip with Justin Bieber on stage?
Oh.
The boxers?
Actually, Dallas has been showing me some of this. I can't. I've been staying away from the grossness out there today because I can't handle it. Like they all got anti-ice pins on now. Like it's
Yeah, that was what they call. That was called what they call the humiliation ritual. They had John Cena on there with a dress. They usually put him in dresses, and again, that's part of the whole club, I guess you could say. But the thing is, why do so many celebrities hate Donald Trump? If Donald Trump was part of the plan, why are these people doing these Grammys and talking everything they can do to start amount of chaos against Donald Trump if Mr. Freedom thinks that Donald Trump is part of the plan?
well, cutting off their adrenochrome supply is a big thing.
Yep.
It's huge.
Yep. That's probably one of the main reasons. And here's a big video that I don't know if a lot of people, of the Canadians, could see. But like I said, Mr. Freedom would have been in the corner and the uppercut would have already been happening. He would have been down for the count. But if Trump was part of the plan and Trump was hated the people and there was nothing there for him, I don't think too many people seen this 2-minute video of Donald Trump, his administration, especially with what happened with Epstein, which I've already talked about yesterday. But check out this 2-minute video. If he was part of the plan, he hated the people, he wasn't here for us, why would this happen? Check this out.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. At President Trump's direction and with the support and coordination of the House Intelligence Committee Chairman Rick Crawford, today we've released a declassified oversight majority staff report that was produced in September of 2020. The stunning revelations that we are releasing today should be of concern to every American. This is not about Democrats or Republicans. This has to do with the integrity of our democratic republic and American voters having faith that the votes cast will count. There is irrefutable evidence that detail how President Obama and his national security team directed the creation of an intelligence community assessment that they knew was false. They knew it would promote this contrived narrative that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help President Trump win, selling it to the American people as though it were true. It wasn't. The report that we released today shows in great detail how they carried this out. They manufactured findings from shoddy sources. They suppressed evidence and credible intelligence that disproved their false claims. They disobeyed traditional tradecraft intelligence community standards and withheld the truth from the American people. In doing so, they conspired to subvert the will of the American people who elected Donald Trump in that election in November of 2016. They worked with their partners in the media to promote this lie, ultimately to undermine the legitimacy of President Trump and launching what would be a years-long coup against him and his administration.
Obama committed treason.
So, yeah, if he was part of the group, why is his administration finally going to charge Obama? Why in 2011 did he come out and say Obama was never an American citizen? He was born in Kenya. So everything that Mr. Freedom has said so far, there's nothing even capable of coming up with any proof about Donald Trump not being for the people. I mean, there's not one. Oh, the Epstein list? People haven't been arrested? I mean, give me a break. If the people, if you know, you know, everybody that's on that Epstein list, from Clintons to the Bushes, to the celebrities, guys, they've already been executed. They've been executed a long time ago. The only problem is you can't go and tell the world that people like Lady Gaga, Justin Bieber, celebrities like, or singers like, what's his name? Toby Keith, not Toby Keith. He was the first one to be executed for crimes against humanity. Oh my God, he sings "Prop Me Up." Prop me up beside a jukebox. I can't remember his name. Anyway, all those people have been executed. But you can't go and tell the world this, because we all seen what happened with the George Floyd. We all seen what's happening now with the two idiots that decided to go against ICE. It's chaos, right? So, I mean, sorry to pick on you tonight, Nick, but you're like me. You're a Trump believer. And I was using you as a sparring partner, which I told you I was going to use you as. And do you think that he would have had any, and I got still a full page. Do you think that Mr. Freedom had any chance to go against all what I just said?
No, and Mr. Freedom, I met him in person after the convoy during the summer of 2022 out at the Boonies event when there was like 5,000 of us showed up out there for an event, and he was on stage singing. And then he seen that epic car of mine, and he come over and shook my hand, and he sat down in the driver's seat and he signed the headliner of that car. And I had American flags, I had Trump stickers on it, and there you go. So
yeah, so that country singer the guys are telling me was Joe Diffie. Joe Diffie was the first one executed. He was on that list, and then all of a sudden Joe Diffie died naturally or by cancer or whatever it was. When I did my first podcast, I was telling the people who was on that list, and all of a sudden people start dying on that list. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I do believe in my heart that Mr. Freedom has been compromised. You're going to probably see a lot of things with Mr. Freedom, with a lot of videos, a lot of internet views. But Jake Paul and Logan Paul just didn't start out because they were doing ridiculous videos for not selling themselves. So I kind of believe Mr. Freedom kind of sold himself to the first bidder.
well, how big of an audience? Like he reaches like millions of people, does he not?
45 million people, he says.
There you go. So that would make sense to pay off a guy to go against. If you're able to reach 45 million people, well, yeah, and you're Mr. Canada Freedom, yeah, it would make sense.
And also when if you were watching his podcast, he had about 85 people watching. So if you're getting to 45 million views and you only got 90 people watching your podcast, that's not very good numbers for doing for someone to be so popular when it comes to a podcast. So he's really getting all those views, like making money off of the views of whatever he's doing, TikTok or whatever views he's getting paid for. So is he compromised? I tend to believe so, because you can't really be that idiotic to be a Trump supporter and all of a sudden change over and doesn't stop. He mentioned something about yesterday, the video. I don't know if you sent it to me, but he came on video, guys, just to let you know. And yeah, I know he goes after pedophiles, which is a great job. He should stick to that and keep away from politics. But he mentioned something about he believes in God and he believes in Second Amendment. Okay. He believes in God. Great. God has angels. Trump is one. Number two, Second Amendment. He put a post out there not too long ago. What happened to Second Amendment? He believes in Second Amendment. Well, Second Amendment doesn't mean a person can go around with a gun in his pocket because he has a piece of paper saying that he's allowed to. No, a Second Amendment is to protect your family from invasion. Like if you're at home and someone breaks into your house, that's where Second Amendment works for you. You can shoot that person in your own home. So I think the powder or the roofing powder, he's been taking a little bit too much, because that doesn't give you the right to go around carrying a gun in public. Because if you know, guards, sheriffs, they don't carry guns in courts, because if something happened that the prisoner got loose, they take the gun, they shoot the room up. It's the same concept when you're in public, walking around with guns. Things can happen. You get jumped. Doesn't give you a right. If you get jumped or mugged, you're going to go around and shooting people. You understand? So he believes in his Second Amendment. Yeah, that's great. But his Second Amendment, it's only to protect your home and your privacy in your home with your family. So he mentioned something about that, which I thought that was pretty foolish of him too, man. So I mean, besides that, I have a whole page. And here's another one for you, Nick. What did Trump say not too long ago about what happened to Biden in 2020? Do you remember that?
What happened to Biden in 2020?
Trump tweeted it not too long ago. He said that Biden was what? Well, actually, because you do your thing, I'm going to ask the crowd. I'm going to ask the viewers. What did Trump say to the world in a tweet not too long ago about Biden in 2020? Let's see what the guys say. I don't know if you can see the comments.
No, I can't.
You can't? Yeah, Jeanette's got the right answer. He's dead.
Yeah.
Trump went and tweeted that the Biden you're seeing now is not the real Biden. Biden was executed back in 2020. All right. So with that being said, that's why he calls him Sleepy Joe, because when you're dead, you're sleeping.
And he loves using the word central casting.
And
He has said
using-
that so many times over the years. Like you can't, I forget. Somebody try counting. It's a ridiculous number.
I've got the video with Central Casting. He actually just tweeted not too long ago for Central Casting. I'm going to try to read it out to you guys since Nick brought it up. Shit, I got to find it. I had so much tweets from Donald Trump. It's literally.
And the number 17, he says a lot as well, which is the 17th letter, Q.
Yeah. I'm going to bring this out too for Mr. Oh, yeah, it's right there at the bottom. Crap. And this, you know what? I'm going to try to. At the bottom of it, he picks Kevin Warsh as the federal chair. And people were freaking out about it. All right. They're literally freaking out about him picking this guy. But what they didn't freak out, what they don't understand, and I'm going to find it here, guys, on my telephone so I can read it out because that's a little bit too small. Actually, I'm going to make it larger on my screen because you guys can't see it. All right. I want you guys to know. Oh, I won't be able to see it. Crap. Crap. I ain't going to be able to see it. So I'm going to try to read it on my phone. I'm going to find it on my phone. Just bear with me. But on my phone, he mentioned at the bottom of this tweet. Where are you? Oh, right here. At the bottom of this tweet, he said about this gentleman that he is central casting and he will never let you down. Congratulations to Kevin. So he literally put this in the tweet that the gentleman he picked, all right, is central casting. All right, that's in that yellow. You can't see at the bottom, Nick, but he's got it in yellow at the very bottom because a lot of people were freaking out about this Kevin Warsh. But at the bottom of it, it says he's central casting. And this was just like a couple days ago. So obviously, if you can't figure it out by now, that Trump brings them front and center and exposes them. And that's exactly what he's doing.
There's also code in every one of Trump's tweets with the time stamp when he puts it out, matches up to a Q post, and there'll be a link on a video on there. And then also, if you count all the capital letters in his tweet, that also directs you to some more information on the whole Q operation, which that's I've learned a lot about that. I actually watch Q After Hours once a week with Alpha Dog. He's ex-military and ex-cop, so he's not just some shithead.
Yep. And here's the things I want to show you guys early. With the United States ends 80-year ties with the World Health Organization. Yeah, Mr. Freedom, you're right. Donald Trump really hates us. And, you know, we can't forget this, that Donald Trump became the first president to ban animal testing. Yeah, imagine that. Ban animal testing. Anybody found doing animal testings will be held. Like I'm talking about like killing a human being. You kill dogs for animal testing. It's literally like killing another human being. So he put that out. And let's not forget about this, Nick, that did you know that that he signed an executive order for older people that they don't have to pay their property tax no more after 65 years old.
Yep.
Yep. Can you imagine that, Nick, that he's against the people? Let's what was this one? Let's go with this one. Oh yeah, here's his Trump's vaccine video that you probably didn't see this, Nick, and I know you guys didn't, but Trump released a video last week saying that Trump's vaccine video sparks massive online that he literally said he released a viral video on vaccines, and the caption read, "Do not take any vaccines. They are poisonous." Imagine that for the grandfather of vaccines coming out and saying vaccines kill people. Oh, what about this one for vaccines? Trump administration ends temporary protected status for immigrants. That's right. So there's no more. Let's remember that immigration destabilizes the economy, right, Nick? So he doesn't care for the people, right? We got to keep that in mind, right? And let's not forget about Joe Biden now. Remember this one? This is Ashley Biden. She made these comments. "I'm so afraid of him coming in the shower with me that I've waited until late at night to take showers." This is Ashley Biden, her diary. "My father molested me many times in the shower." Yeah, this, of course, they don't talk about this, but this is actually Joe Biden's daughter literally coming out and saying this. All right. And I can go on, and there's stuff that we don't know, obviously, about what Trump has done. And let's not forget about this one, too. That remember this judge, Nick?
Hold on.
I knew I could see through this judge's face.
Well, that face looks familiar. God, that's ugly.
He tried to convict. He's the one that tried to convict Donald Trump back in New York, if I'm not mistaken. Arthur Angorian on what I can't even remember his name. Anyway, they found out he took a $10 million bribe from Joe Biden, to try to, convict Trump. So of course, Mr. Freedom's completely right, dude. He literally is not here to save the people. He's definitely against everyone. I can see exactly where his points are. I think I've said enough.
I got one for you, Jeff.
Sure, shoot.
Trump supports these people.
Okay.
That is the actual Iranian flag, not the Islamic Iranian flag. And these people, 200,000, were in Toronto with us yesterday.
Calling out SOS Trump.
Yep. Call it. And
we got freedom fighters out here in Canada that are screaming at me that I'm a fucking traitor, and all these Iranians have to go back to their fucking country. You guys need a little reality check. Do your research. What happened there in 1979?
Yep. 1979 with their Islamic spokespeople came in, took over the country. And this is where, because I don't know if you guys know, but in Iran in the 1970s, the women were unbelievable. They could show their bodies, their hair. It was just, they could go to school. They were, so Trump went and saved Iran from the Islamic State it was in. But he's such a bad person, my friend. And that's just the stuff we know. There's still a lot more. All right. So, with that being said, man, my case has rested. The prosecution came back. Mr. Freedom is a retard. That's the verdict. He needs to stick to chasing pedophiles. He needs to stick to roofing, and he needs to, keep out of politics. I think that's what the Crown just came back, the verdict from the jury. Thank you. And with that being said, my brother, that's the hour. That's pretty much it.
Oh, I got one more thing to show you.
Okay.
Well, actually, two things. Yeah. We do have Trump in the house. He was at the rally yesterday, right here. See him?
Yeah.
Humpty. Yeah. Yeah, there he is.
What dogs that were?
And the dogs. And then, can you see that? I love Jesus.
Yeah, of course. Yep.
There we go.
And let's not keep in mind that Trump is brought back the prayer in all the schools too, right? But he's
and what are we doing here in Canada?
Such a bad man. Such a bad man. But anyway, guys, Nick, thank you for coming on, brother. I'm glad I shared your story a little bit. I was hoping that we got to team up on Mr. Freedom last night. Not that I really needed any help, obviously, because I came prepared. It only took me 30 minutes. If I actually would have took a full day, I don't think Mr. Freedom, I think he would be in jail right now. The verdict would have came back. He was looking at 5 years doing a lot of time with his cellmate Bubba for all the bullshit he's been talking about. We're just going to keep it that way because, at the end of the day, guys, this is exactly what I sent Nick yesterday for him saying that he didn't get it. The link, it's right there, guys. And there's Nick right there on the bottom right-hand corner. There's the link. It's the same link that Nick got. It works. And if you look at the bottom here, it says, yo, this link is bogus. And that was at 10:15, which would have been 11:15 my time, which was an hour and 15 minutes late. Either way, Mr. Freedom is not the person you guys think he is. Let's get him to stick to comedy and chasing pedophiles on Saturdays. Nick, thank you for coming out, brother.
One last thing, Jeff. I'll let you know how this 3-day insanity trial have coming up for that ban incident turns out. That's the 11th, 12th, 13th. And then after that, maybe I'll come back on and then I can talk some more because I'll be off conditions. You know what I mean? I really got to watch my P's and Q's nowadays.
All right, brother. Sounds good. And one more common sense for the people, guys, because I got to throw a common sense picture in here. All right, get this. So it's illegal to bring a plant into our country because it might upset the ecosystem. But bringing in millions of people from third world is supposed to make it better. That's just a common sense, buddy. Just to let you know.
Pantifa, that's what we call them now. Palestinians, Pantifa.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you for spending the Monday night. It is 10 o'clock my time, probably 9 o'clock your guys' time. Nick, thank you for coming out. We'll bring you back on in the near future. And like I said, Mr. Freedom, you were a no-show, sorry, but it is what it is. And I wouldn't want to debate with me either, especially against American politics. I love you guys all. And like Don Cherry says,
February 14th, Valentine's Day. The Iranians are heading back to Toronto, even bigger this time.
I'm sure you guys are going to see on February 14th, Valentine's Day, there'll be some posters out with the whole Iranian protests in downtown Toronto. And anyway, thank you guys for coming out. Nick, thank you once again. I love you guys all, and we'll talk soon, and have a great night. And we'll see you guys back Thursday for Thursday's show. And that's it, man. Adios, amigos.
Right on.
Miss out. Bringing you the real truth, exposed. The Canadian Dawn is digging deeper, asking what others won't, and broadcasting it uncensored. For real. Join the conversation live with facts you can see and voices you can trust. Subscribe today.